What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking about the home office tax deduction with a new space. Okay, what do I mean by that? I mean, it's a tax deduction that you have for the business use of your personal home. But if, let's say you added a new space, like you built a new addition on the main level of your home, or you added a new basement, which is what we're doing now, how to account for that? Okay, so first I'm going to start off with what is a home office deduction. It is basically a business use of your home that you can write off. You're basically writing off a portion of your home on your taxes, and that will help with offsetting your income, your taxable income. So it could be an entire room, or the deduction could be like a partial room, or it can even be like a little area of your kitchen or something, as long as the space is dedicated use for business. And this is for business owners at the moment, okay? This deduction went away for W-2 employees after the Trump tax reform. It will probably come back after the year 2025, but for now, this is only valid for business owners. Like I said, the spaces could vary. It could be an entire room, a partial room. It could be an entire basement if you use it solely for business, okay? Now remember, the key here is that it has to be dedicated, and the IRS verifies that by coming into your home at night and measuring all your shit, okay? Not really, but don't mess around here. It's gotta be a dedicated office space. So who can claim this deduction? Well, first of all, sole proprietors can do it easily. LLC members can do it. Multi-member LLCs can do it. And owners of partnerships or partners in partnerships can claim this deduction pretty easily, okay? If you own a corporation, whether it's a C Corp or an S Corp, there's a few more steps you gotta do. It's not so simple, but that's another video for another time. So basically, if you're a sole proprietor or a single member LLC, you claim this deduction on your Schedule C. And to calculate the deduction, you're gonna have to fill out Form 8829, and it gives you all the instructions and all the calculations there, and I'll go over that with you a little bit later in this video. But that's claimed on your Schedule C, okay? If you're an owner of a multi-member LLC or a partnership, that's gonna be claimed as an unreimbursed partner expense. And again, that's another video for another time, but you can do it pretty easily on your personal tax return. The reason that you can't really do it on corporations is because owners of corporations are supposed to be considered employees, okay? So if you're an employee of the corporation, then the corporation should technically be reimbursing you for these expenses, and you shouldn't be claiming it on your tax return, okay? Now, you could used to claim it before the Trump tax reform on your tax return if you were an employee, but that tax reform got rid of all those unreimbursed employee expenses on the Schedule A. And so in order for you to claim it as an owner of an S Corp, you basically have to create a reimbursement plan through your company and reimburse yourself from the company to your personal account for these expenses. So how do you calculate these expenses? Well, let's jump over here and I'll show you. Now there's two methods of calculating your home office deduction. First is the simplified method, which is very simple. You just take the measurement of your home office. In this example, we have 100 square feet right here. So for the simplified method, you're gonna take 100 square feet times 5, and you'll get your $500 deduction. Because the simplified method is $5 per square foot, and you don't have to deal with gathering all your bills and figuring out depreciation and all that stuff. So it's much simpler, but you are limited to a 300 square foot home office if you choose that method, okay? And usually the simplified method is less of a deduction than the actual expense method. To go over the actual expense method, I'll show you that right here. Okay, first you measure the square foot of your office, and then you get your finished square foot of your home. This is usually listed on like Zillow, or if you're renting, you should be able to find this information pretty easily so that you don't have to measure it yourself. So you take office divided by entire home, and you get this percentage right here. In this example, it's just gonna be 10%. And then you're gonna wanna gather all your bills that you have. So let's say you rent a place. That's gonna be your monthly rent, your utilities, your internet, whatever other bills you have to basically maintain the cost of living in that space. Okay, so in this case, we have $2,300 per month to live in this apartment. And to figure out the home office expense deduction, we're gonna take $2,300 times 10%, which we just calculated up here, okay? And that gives us $230 per month that we can deduct on our dedicated home office space in this apartment. Now, if you own a place, it's gonna be a little bit different from renting, okay? Because you don't actually pay rent, you pay a mortgage, and the mortgage is partially interest and partially principal. Well, only the interest is deductible, okay? So we have mortgage interest, property taxes, utilities, internet, and this other thing called depreciation, which I'm not gonna go too much into right now. But depreciation is basically you're telling the government that because you're using this home for business, it is depreciating in value on paper, okay? We know that homes typically appreciate, that's obvious, but on paper, any asset that you use for business will depreciate over time. So maybe I'll make another video down the road on how to calculate depreciation for home office expense, but those are all the things that are included. So you add those up for the year, okay, or for however many months you use your office, and you multiply it by this number, the 10% number that you originally calculated in the first place. Pretty simple there, okay? And these calculations are all done on Form 8829, the business use of home form. Now, what happens if you have a new space, like you get a new basement, or you add a new addition to your home? You have to account for that. So if you've been doing it with this calculation right here, the 100 over 1,000 for many years, and you added a basement or you added an addition to your home, this has to change, okay? Because your total finished square foot has increased. So you gotta measure out, the space of your new addition and then include it in the denominator for this calculation, and that would likely lower your home office deduction expense. Now, if you added a new addition to your home just for business, then that would increase it, obviously. In this case, it's gonna lower it. So we did like a finished basement, like another 800 square foot or something. That's gonna bring this number down dramatically. A space that you just added on, the square footage of that space will go into your denominator. It has to be added to your total square footage, and your calculation will change that way. Now, keep in mind, some people use their garage as, a space, whether they use like a portion of the garage for like storage or solely for like their Turo car rental or whatever. That portion of the garage can be used as a home office, if you will. But if you do that, you have to include the entire square footage of the garage in your denominator as well. And as you can see in my example, I didn't include any garage square footage. So just keep that in mind, okay? Or if you have like an external shed on your property, or like a second building in your property, just make sure you include the square footage of those buildings as well if you're gonna use any part in those external buildings as part of your business home office deduction, okay? So that's all I got for today. Thanks for joining me. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Smash that like button, share this video with anybody that you think might find it helpful, and also leave me a comment below with any questions or concerns you might have. All right, so take care for now, and I'll see you next time.